guys, Katy Huller here with KidsCanReadAndWrite.com. Well, today I want to talk to you about how many tricks can you name? Let's play a game. Name that trick. How many tricks can you find in these words? So I want you to just look at it for a minute, see how many tricks can you find? Because the thing is, kids who are struggling to read long words usually struggle for a couple of reasons. One, most importantly, the blending technique. A lot of kids don't know how to break up these big words, and then they struggle to know how to blend them together, even if they do. The other big reason kids struggle to read these big words is because they don't know the tricks. Now, what are tricks? Tricks are what I call letter combinations that make new sounds when they're together or somewhere in a word than they normally do in the regular letters and sounds of the alphabet that we teach kids. So a lot of times we teach letters and sounds to kids, right? But we forget to teach them one of the most important things, and that's what certain letters say when they get with other letters or when they're put in certain positions in words. I like to call these tricks to keep it simple. I don't want a lot of educational jargon to make it hard for you to teach your kids at home. So let's talk about what you need to know to read these words. Let's play Name That Trick. All right, so take a look, see how many tricks you can find. Go ahead and pause the video, write down all the tricks, letter combinations that are making new sounds, or if a letter's in a certain position in a word, making some other letter say something different. Write that down, see how many tricks you can find, and then press play again and we'll go over them. All right, so did you find all the tricks? Let's see. Let's look at this first word. Remember, I said that a lot of kids have trouble breaking up words, knowing where to break them up so that they can blend them together and read them. And then the second thing is knowing tricks. So first we're going to find the tricks. What did you find in this word? Did you see the two vowels trick right there? Well, normally when we have two vowels, well, a lot of vowel combinations, the first one will say its name, the second won't say anything at all. Now, this doesn't apply to all vowel combinations because there are certain vowels that when they're together make different sounds than the first one saying its name. But it's a good standard rule to kind of get your kids started, and then you can teach them the exceptions as they come up or as you go through a program. Like if you're going through black belt reading, we'll first teach two vowels. The first one says its name, the second doesn't say anything, so this would say E because that's his name. But later we'll tell you other vowel combinations that will start introducing, like the two O's saying ooh, cool, or the O and the I saying oi, 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 different things like that. So for now, two vowels, E and A, that's one of them. They will say E. That's a trick. They don't say ah. So it's a trick. All right, what else did you find in this one? Did you see the ER trick? That doesn't say ra, it says See that E with his mouth wide open to the R? He's talking to the R, and when the teacher calls on them, they say we don't know, because they weren't listening to the teacher. All right, did you find any others? Here's the SH. Do you know what S and the H say? Shh. They're so busy telling secrets to each other. The S is whispering to the H's ear. When other letters come around, they say shh. There's a snake. Okay, S and the H say shh. Now, let's talk about how you'd break this word up. So we would drag our vowel combination into our next sound and break it. So this part, we'd say la, e, d, lead. This is D because daddy's face is first. If you're working with a child with processing issues, they may flip their B's and D's and not be able to tell which one's which. So make sure you're having them pay attention to what they're touching first as they come across. If it's da-da-da-daddy, make sure they say da. All right, so that's la-eed. Then we say go one past the vowel, break it again, so we have lead, and then we have our sh, ip, ship, lead, ship. Then you have your child put it together, leadership. But if your child didn't know this was a trick, or didn't know this, or didn't know this, you might hear your child sounding it out like la, d, s, it. And how are you going to know what that says, right? So kids need to be able to spot the tricks, and they need to know how to break these words up that are so big they tax the working memory until you put them into nice smaller bits like this, so that they can just do a little part at a time and then stick 3 parts together rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? We're just going to reduce that memory load. So that's that one. All right. How'd you do on the next one? Name that trick. What do you see in this word? How many tricks did you find? Well, I see 2 tricks. Did you find 2? All right. The first one is when C touches an E, I, or a Y. And it says S. Whenever he touches an E, I, or Y, see his hands, he's touching that E, S. The E shouts out whatever it was doing. In this case, that E was working with the D. That's another trick. They say duh at the end of a word, unless they come after a T or D, then it's Ted or dead. But here, this is a C, it's not a T or D. They're just going to say duh there. So now let's break this word up. We're gonna glue our vowel onto that next sound. Remind your child to watch and see, is it a B or a D? It's da-da-da-daddy, so say duh for daddy. So that would be add. Now we're gonna glue our next one onto there. Van, van, add, van. And then remember the C says S when he touches that E, I, or Y. So we go sd. All right, so let's see. Add, van, sd. Add, van, sd. Advanced, advanced. Now this might be hard for your child to hear, and if you have an ED ending, you can take that off and do it this way. But remember the C has to say this because it's touching that E. Advance, advanced. Since that's a suffix, if you want to just pop that off and read the word before it, you can. But again, make sure you're making that C say S because it's touching an E, I, or Y. All right, so I get some comments. Well, the dictionary says you break it here. Yes, there are different ways to break words, but here's the thing. The kids I'm working with are already struggling with memory issues, with working memory issues, with trying to balance a lot at once. So what I'm trying to do is reduce that memory load so that all kids can learn, not just the ones with good working memory. So I'm going to show you the easiest way to teach them, the way that usually works and where you just have to shift slightly occasionally to do it. And if you want to do it the official way, go for it. You know, if you can learn the 8 rules and do that, go for it. But I'm working with kids who are struggling with memory, and so I'm going to show you the easiest way to do things. Maybe not the technically correct way, but the easiest way. I've seen it work for kid after kid with dyslexia, so that's why I'm sharing it with you. So I hope it helps. But if you want to break it slightly differently, go for it. This is just the way I found works best for the kids I've been working with. So here we go. Advanced. Advanced. Like if you're very advanced, you're ahead of the crowd. You're working beyond what they're doing. So let's see about this one. How many tricks did you find in this word? So again, I see 2. Did you see 2? So I see the shun trick, T-I-O-N, shun, 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 shun. And I see the A-L trick. All the L's want to go with the A, but sometimes just one can, okay? So when I read this, I'm going to break it now that I've spotted my tricks. I'm not going to break up this trick, so I'm going to break it right here. And then right after the vowels glue on, I'll break it there. All right, so this would be add, did, shun, all. Okay, add, did, shun, all. Addition, all. Additional. Like, I might give you some additional tips, okay? Additional. Now, this is one of my favorite tricks, and just remember T-I-O-N, shun, 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 shun. This is one of the most missed tricks when I'm testing spelling and shun comes up. It's usually T-I-O-N. It could be S-I-O-N also, but T-I-O-N is the more common version. So if your kids are struggling when they hear shun, if they're writing S-H-U-N or something like that, remind them shun, 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 T-I-O-N. And then here's one more trick. All the L's want to go with the A, but sometimes just one can. At the end of long words, only one L is allowed to go with the A unless it's a compound word, because just too many people are going in this convoy. It's just the mom's like, no, only one L can come. We have too many other people going. Now, if it's a compound word like baseball, base would go in one group and ball would go in the other. Both L's would be allowed there because it's a short word. Both L's get to go after 1 or 2 letters. So compound words, we don't change the original word. If it was a short word that we just added to another, both L's can still come. And then there's another rule. If you hear all in the middle, like palm, like the palm of your hand, if you're writing that, all, when all is in the middle of a word like this, one L gets claustrophobic and he's out of there. He's not going to be in the middle of a word or root word. Now, if it's something like ball, and we hear that all after 1 or 2 letters, okay, and then we want to turn ball into balls, like I have 3 balls that I'm bringing with us to play tennis with. So then I'm going to add that suffix. I'm not going to take away an L. The suffixes get added on so fast, the L can't get out of there in time. So if it's at the end of a word, root word, or syllable, you will probably see those 2 L's. But if it's in the middle of the true middle of the word, like palm, just 1 L. So these are tricks. This is what tricks kids all the time. If you don't know them and you don't pass this knowledge on to your kids, well, they're probably getting tricked by it. So make sure you're teaching it to them if no one else is, or even if other people are, but they're forgetting. It's good for you to know it so you can help your children with it. So let's see about this one. How many tricks can you find in this word? How many did you find? I see 3. Can you find 3? So the first one is the UR. They say just like ER and IR do. So we're going to break that there. The next one is when O pinches you. O pinches you. You hear, ow. Okay, so I'm going to glue that onto here, break that here. And the last one is the ing, says ing, right? It's not ing, it's ing. Sounds like an E, ing. So that's why it's a trick. So if I want to read this, I'm going to go sir, round. Which one is this? Daddy again. Da-ing, ding. So then I put it together. Surrounding. Surrounding. Now, could I have lopped off the suffix ing and read that? Surround? Absolutely. Again, I just try to tell kids one way, so all they have to remember is one thing when they're splitting up words. And most of the time they can figure it out doing that, even if it's not technically the right way to break up a word. Okay, it works most of the time. It's a great memory reliever for kids who are struggling with working memory and just having too many things to remember at once. This is a game changer. So teach your kids to glue those vowels onto the next sound, or if they're a trick sound, keep them together for sure. Glue that vowel combo onto that next sound, break it. This is a wonderful way to help your kids learn to read the big words. So thanks for playing Name That Trick with me. I hope you were able to spot a lot of those tricks, and if not, keep learning them. Keep looking for what letters are making new sounds when they're together and why are they doing that. See if you can find the patterns. It will help your children so much if they can start seeing these patterns when they're learning to read, especially if they memorized a bunch of words early on and really don't know how to read yet. You need to teach them how to make these sounds in this order, breaking up the chunks as they go and watching for tricks. That's going to be a game changer for your kids, especially if they're mumbling or struggling over the big words. So hope this helped, guys. If your kids are on a much lower level and they're just learning to read, check out the Black Belt Reading Program. If you need a higher level Black Belt Reading Program, let me know. I haven't put it officially on the market yet, but I do have the packets that are needed for you to go through that program. So if you need it, just get in touch with me and I will try to set you up. It is a paid program. You'll see the fee on there when you go check it out. You can go to kidscanonlineacademy.com to learn more, or you can go to kidscanreadandwrite.com. So either place has it, but I hope this helps you get one step closer to becoming a Black Belt reader and writer yourself. So thanks for joining me, guys. Hope to see you soon.